G'day, mate. I'm Jim.
Yeah, I'm Az. Yeah.
Az, how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about you. Yeah. Come into town. I said, who are the interesting characters in Tibooburra? And they said, go and meet Az.
Yeah?
Yeah. And Az, your dad was a camel herder here?
Yeah, he came out in 1800s.
1800s?
Yeah.
Fair dinkum. Because, I mean, this country was opened up by camels,
Yeah,
you know?
They didn't get much recognition, though.
No. This is pre-cars and everything because
Yeah.
the camels could travel further distances than the horses, hey?
Yeah.
And did you do camel herding as well?
I did, yeah, when we was younger.
I've just hung around Gary, so I know a bit about goats, or Gary at least. What do you know a bit about goats as well? Like, what's the difference between a camel's nature and a goat's nature?
You know, if a goat, if you knock them about, they won't have anything to do with you.
Oh, yeah.
That's the same as a camel.
Yeah.
You got to be good to them.
Well, that's the thing. I think humans and dogs can be ruled by love and fear.
That's right.
Whereas goats and camels can only be ruled by love. You
That's
can't.
Right. We used to have a big goat like this here.
Yeah.
Like here.
Yeah, he's a milking goat.
Yeah. But he's a big bloke too, isn't he?
And Az, have you been back to Afghanistan at all?
No, never.
Never been there.
Punjab it was.
Yeah.
No.
In those days it was called Punjab, yeah.
Punjab he came from.
So you're born in Australia and ever left Australia?
No, born in Broken.
Where's the furthest you've been?
Alice Springs, up in that country. I worked up around up the railway line when it was going through Marita and that. And
there we go, true blue Aussie here. Yeah.
And then I was worked on Anna Creek, cattle station, and I worked mostly on Kidman stations and droving.
Are there many other Afghan camel herd? Yeah.
I'm the oldest descendant of all the Afghan Cameleers left.
Really?
Male.
Wow.
And I've got a sister, she's 90, nearly 94, and she's the oldest female.
How old did your dad live to?
97.
Wow. Wow. How good's that, eh, Gary?
I got a lot of descendants down in Port Augusta and up that way, Maree and Broken Hill too.
Don't call it Port Augusta. Yeah.
Yeah, Port Augusta, yeah. I haven't met half of them, mate. Oh.
How many brothers and sisters you got?
I had 7 brothers and 7 sisters, and I'm the only boy left, and there's only 2 girls left.
Wow, that's a full-on tribe, isn't it?
Yeah.
They don't breed them like they used to.
No.
I mean, back then, your dad and mum must have just been mad rooters, hey? Like,
I think he used to go on a camel trip, and every time he come back, he'd leave and mum would be pregnant.
Oh, really? Right, either that or the camel, hey?
No, they reckon a camel, no, what did the bloke say, it's all right to make love to a camel, you've got to go too far to kiss them good night.
You're dead right, because, I mean, the good thing about rooting a goat is you don't need a stepladder either to get up to them, hey?
I've never tried it.
Weirdo. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, Gaz. Yeah, because Gaz, I don't have to go far to kiss you. I mean, Australia has changed. The inland Australia has changed from those days. Like, the cities have just, exploded in populations, but inland it's disappearing a lot, isn't it?
No, it is, yeah. It's not like it used to be. When I first came up here, there was a lot of Aboriginal people here.
Yep.
And they were real decent, respectable people. So are these, there's only a few around here now.
Yeah.
But you go down and they didn't say, oh, this is my country and I want this and all this and that. They was happy.
Yeah.
But today they're all...
So it's sort of like there's a lot of discontent being created by...
It's like there's no... I know an old Aboriginal, can't think of his name, up at Alice Springs, and he said, it's not the full-blood Aboriginal stirring all this shit up. He says, the white man half-caste...
Yep.
And then the Aboriginal, he said, the white man tells the half-caste what to do, and the half-caste tells the Aboriginal, that's what you've got to claim. And the Aboriginal, of course, they reckon they're ignorant and got no education on that.
Yeah.
That they'll do it. And then the white people blame the Aboriginal.
Yeah, right,
It's not the bloody Aboriginal.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's a bit like the Americans going into the Middle East and stirring stuff up.
Yeah.
And then all these extremists get created, and then they blame them, and they go, "Well, there's a chain of command in this."
Yeah, but blame the poor old Aboriginal. He's not to blame.
No.
I work with Aboriginal. I worked on Nokatunga Station there when I first went up that country, and I was cooking in a mustering camp, and there was about 16 Aboriginal boys, and well, Afghan boys, some of them.
Yeah.
I think some of the old Afghans might have left the Afghan boys there when they going through with their teams and that.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
look at your track record.
Yeah, get the black velvet. And anyhow, they had a big dish like that.
Yeah.
And when you cook a stew or curry like that, you put it in that. They had one spoon between them.
Yeah.
And they were there for years. And then later years, a bloke came out there. He was what he called a manager's son, and he was Bill Hughes. He's still alive.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They owned Knockatong for years. Then they sold to Packer.
Yep.
Packer bought it. And I said to him, and so this other old drover bloke I worked with for years, old Larry Thompson.
Yeah.
What about these boys? They've all got this one spoon in the dish before them, and they're using all bloody old veggie tins and that for panicking. What about we all get them the right thing? And Bill used to talk like Aboriginal. Yeah, right, old boy. He said, I'll fix them up. So, any real educated bloke.
Yeah.
And so it ended up within about 5 or 6 weeks. Out comes from Thargomindah on the mail, a knife, fork and spoon, a pannikin and a plate for every Aboriginal in it, what I was cooking for.
Nice.
And you know, they boys really appreciate
Appreciate it. That's just respect. Yeah.
And when they came out in later years, the Europeans thought they were doing a good job by taking them all away to the missions.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing they ever done.
Yeah, yeah. And that, because at the time, was there much backlash of what they were doing, or was it just totally accepted?
No, it wasn't accepted.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't accepted. It wasn't even accepted.
I mean, obviously not accepted by the Aboriginals, but was there much backlash from the white people?
It wasn't accepted by a lot of the white people either.
What do you think, I mean, with the solution now, with them sort of communities being pushed off the land, do you feel this is the new taking the children away, like it's another step from disconnecting them from the land, or is it just...
Well, if they didn't take all those children away years ago, they would have been dead and buried when they were younger. They were starving. There was no nourishment. What they didn't get on a lot of the stations. They treated them like bloody dogs.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
And because you weren't allowed to roam around like before and get your food according to the season, so you were trapped.
And I've had different ones. Look out, mate! You get that in your mouth. I've had different ones claim me as Aboriginal and try to treat me as Aboriginal.
Yeah.
And working for them. And I've had quite a few fall out, especially in Victoria.
You're sort of in between cultures. You've got a good viewpoint on the white and the blackfella culture here.
My mother came from Ireland.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
So you got a Afghan dad, an Irish...
Indian.
Indian. Yeah, right.
They call them Afghans.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, back then when...
So there was Afghans, Turks, Sikhs, and Indians. And what other breed? Anyhow, there was 5 different cultures came to Australia with the camels.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And did those 5 cultures get on well with each other? Was there a solidarity between those guys?
That's right,
yeah.
The only ones that they didn't get on well with was the white people when they had camel string teams and that. They didn't have strings, the white blokes.
Didn't they?
No, they used to have wagons.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So they had a different way of riding the camels. Yeah. And you'll probably go, and it wasn't as good as you guys.
No, and they were very cruel with them too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you can't work with an animal if you're cruel with them. I mean, aside from it being wrong, it's kind of stupid. Yeah. So, and like when you were saying this guy was treating you like the local Aboriginal, I suppose from your point of view as well, you're going, even if I was Aboriginal, that's just not the way to treat people.
Not the way to treat them.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in it the way they used to treat them years ago, though.
Yeah.
And yet some people on some stations used to treat them just like their own. Yeah. Yeah, it's only just a few, see? Yeah. Yeah. So now you've seen times change where it's sort of swinging so far the other way. Yeah. That the balance has gone different ways. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's Yeah, basically we're all. It's all pretty. Well, you've seen a fair few of them travelling around.
Well, I mean, you just take everyone as they come. It doesn't really matter who they are.
People say, "Oh, there's no opus and all this and that." Well,
it's like saying, "What do you think of white people?" I mean, I know a fair few fucking dickheads, and I know a fair few good ones. I mean, it's like, can you narrow it down? You know what I mean? I mean, so yeah.
What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, but and a lot of fun in those days as well. Like aside from all the racism, like there's a lot of rules coming in now as well.
And there was all good stockmen too. All horse days them days.
Yeah.
There was no motorbikes and that when I was first roving. It was all horses and that. I get the sense from going around the country, like particularly around the 1900s, that's when a lot of the country towns started booming. Often the biggest building in a country town was the first one built still, and then after the wars, all the, servicemen came in and it grew. Was there a sense, I suppose you couldn't really predict then that it would, 100 years later, it would be such a downfall of the country? I mean, I suppose there was a sense of these are going to build up into massive cities and... Well, the way things are today, I can't follow what's going on today with a lot of the countries.
Yeah.
Like, see, I was looking at the TV the other day and seeing this kid holding a person's head up like that they cut off overseas and that kid was only 12 years old or something.
Yeah.
But they had a big black sheet. It was only on yesterday again.
Yeah.
And they couldn't see its head, but you could see the hair up here, and them sort of things. That never happened in our days.
No.
Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from. Yeah.
Well, it's I don't know where it's coming from either, but it's not good, is it? No. Like basically, we're all one tribe.
Yeah.
And until we work that out, we're just going to trash the joint.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's really interesting, Az. I mean, it's
Yeah. But where do you carry him in the?
Yeah, he just hops up in the back here, and in the dual cab.
Oh, he gets in there.
Yeah, and I got him for a case of beer. I do comedy shows at pubs, so I got him for a case of beer, and he was just a little fella, and used to be able to put him on my shoulder when he got into trouble. And now he's a big unit, and he's just my mate, really.
How long are you here for now?
Oh, until the rain stops. So we're going to go down to the pub tonight and do it.
You on your own?
Yeah, it's just me and Gary. Yeah. So,
you want to drink a coffee or tea or something?
Yeah, I'll come in. Yeah. How old were you when you got married?
I'll be 89 in August.
Yeah.
Been married 36 years.
Good on ya. You had a good run, didn't you?
Yeah.
You had a good run. 53, you thought I'll pull up stumps, hey?
And the wife's 63, I think.
So, as when you were married, you were 53, and your lovely wife, she was 29, hey?
Yeah.
Nice work. And
Couldn't be any happier.
Yeah, that's fantastic, hey? So you were single till you were 53, Az? You were single till you're 53 and then you started...
I had another one before that.
Oh, right, yeah.
Didn't last long there.
Right. So, how old were you when you first got married?
About 40, I think.
And, like, in those days with relationships as well, especially being a camel herder, you're on the road a lot, hey? You sort of basically got to go,
Yeah.
darling, I'll see you in 6 years.
Roving and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Which... there's issues now with the fly-in, fly-out miners where you've got to go for 3 weeks, but back in your day, you were gone for like months at a time, hey?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. As I got a deal with my girlfriend that we just promise that we'll always see each other at least every 2 years. Yeah. So and that keeps things going.
You have milk with sugar?
Oh, just bit of milk, no sugar, And as what brought your father out here, like in the 1880s?
Yeah.
What sort of got him? Was there was there an ad come to Australia or?
No, they wanted to open up the Outback and they wanted the camel men.
Yep.
And they brought the camels and the old fellas out. Well, they were only young fellas then.
Yeah.
And they brought them out with the.
So what an adventure for your dad. He didn't see his family again. He just sort of hit the road. or hit the boat.
One brother came out not in my time.
Yeah.
One brother came out years ago and seen him and went back home again.
Inland Australia's got the biggest wild population of camels in the world.
Oh yeah, yeah. And they're just shooting, like nothing.
Yeah, how do you feel about the shooting of all the camels in there? Is it sort of...
well, the shooting's all right, but out of helicopters and that shooting them, you can go along. I've seen them shooting brumbies and that, but I haven't seen the camel business. I read about it in the paper not long ago, and the bloke who's got the camel farm in Alice Springs, he would go and crook about it.
Yeah.
And he reckoned it's cruelty because he said he'd gone along and seen camels still alive 2 or 3 days after, couldn't move, but still alive.
Yeah, right. So you're saying
I've seen that happen with brumbies, horses.
Yeah. Yeah, so what you're saying is, okay, cull them, but don't just take pot shots from a plane and piss off when you've probably just,
that's right.
Wounded one.
They just
so they're just sitting there. A lot of them are just sitting there bleeding to death. If you're gonna,
well, they only got to waste anyhow. I reckon it's what my opinion is, trying to get as many as they can, and as long as they go into the knackery or something, and they're doing something with them, instead of wasting it. If they're going to do it that way, why let them do it? That's my opinion. Yeah,
if you're going to kill them properly.
Kill them humanely,
Yeah. Humanely, that's it really.
It isn't humanely, is it?
Yeah, well, I mean, killing humanely, that's it's a pretty dubious term. But is camel meat sort of eaten?
I've eaten it, it's all right.
Yeah.
There's people around here they shoot a camel out here on the stations around close. There's a lot of camels out back here.
Yeah.
Camels caught them all through there.
Yeah.
And then you keep on going around and you see more and more and more.
Yeah.
And them people aren't worried about getting rid of a lot of them.
Yeah.
They truck a few away now and again, and they don't just go and shoot them and leave them there.
No.
But they shoot one, they use it for meat.
Well, that's it. I mean, like even the Aboriginal culture, you don't just go around killing animals. It's a waste.
No.
Well, we've got a wasteful culture now where we're not using our resources very smartly. So if you just go around killing shit, we're wasting food, we're wasting meat, and even a lot of the mining, it just ends up in landfill.
Yeah.
So another fucking big problem. Yeah.
Anyhow, I'll get this cup, huh?
Jeez, Az, this is what the country's about for me. It's a cup of tea and some homemade biscuits. Thanks, Viv. Were these yours?
No worries.
Oh yeah. Viv, what caught your eye about Az all those years ago?
His brown eyes.
His brown eyes.
They're a bit watery now, but they were pretty cool a few years back.
Oh, you still got it, Az, hey? That's great. And were you born here as well? Up this area as well, Viv?
No, I come from Bendigo.
Bendigo, alright. Big smoke girl.
Big smoke.
Yeah.
Mexican.
Right. So you picked up the young hot city slicker chick, eh?
What happened is she had a girlfriend working at the hospital there.
Yeah.
And the husband was working on the pipeline when they put the gas through.
Yeah.
And the girl said to me, I've got a girlfriend coming up to do relief work at the hospital. I think you should get on good together. I said, well, come in on that weekend when she comes.
Yeah. 36 years later, here you are.
A bit more than 36.
Yeah, great.
Look at her.
Nice. It's good to get a referral from your friends sometimes.
No, she may save me anyhow. If I was dropped there, I don't think I'd been much left now.
What, you're getting pretty loose, were you?
Getting around a bit too much.
She settled you down, mate, eh?
Yeah.
And how many kids you got?
I had 2 daughters.
Yeah.
One got killed when she was only 6-year-old in an accident. We turned the light support off the next morning in Melbourne. They took her down to Melbourne by plane from where we were. Yeah, that's how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's nothing worse than that, mate. And yeah, you just got to keep going, don't you?
Right. You got to live with it, don't you?
We're all in the queue, but you just don't want it to happen that early. That's terrible.
Well, there, I'll show you a photo. That's my... Where is he? That's my father there. Yeah. And look how they left them bales of wool on there.
That's a big load, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. They're loaded.
That's feed, grain,
Wow.
chaff or something. Yeah.
And how long can a camel go? What's the longest distance a camel can go without water?
I've seen a camel go for 20 odd days without water.
This is transport back in those days.
Yeah.
You know, the railways, the towns,
Big ship water tanks, look at them.
water tanks, everything. And then
Railway line.
pretty well over the space of, you know, a few decades, they just became totally obsolete. Hey?
That's right, yeah.
And you sort of wonder whether that's going to happen to our culture right now, where you know, like whether the motor car or the fuel or the engine or even the internet or the things that we think are just here forever, where they're going to become obsolete.
Well, you look at it. You can't expect the earth to keep going, the world to keep going what they are, pull all the gas out, all out from underground.
No.
It's got to deteriorate one time, doesn't it?
Well, the whole miner's argument is if you don't like mining, you're a hypocrite because you use our mobile phones, computers, and everything's from mining. But basically, what you say, the world cannot sustain an increasing population just digging stuff out of the earth.
That's right, and it's not going to last. I don't think myself.
No, and it's, well, you know, humans have been around for 200,000 years. We can't keep this pace up for another, you know.
You can't. There's no way in the wide world. Yeah.
And do you think humans are sort of, do you think we can stop it, or do you think there's just a momentum that we're going to have to sort of crash?
Well, you've got men like you've got running your show,
Yeah.
Australia. They're not. They don't care what happens as long as the money's coming in.
Yeah, well, basically, politicians now, all politicians are good for now is just going like this. Which way is the wind blowing?
Yeah.
It's coming out your ass.
The politicians, all they think about is their bloody self. They're not worried about what's going to happen to the world.
No, well,
They'll be dead and gone.
yeah.
They'll have their good times and they'll be dead and gone, won't they?
Yep. It's there's no real long-term planning at all.
I've never been on the dole.
Yeah.
Well, none of our family have.
Yeah.
If we couldn't get out and work and that, well, we'd get a good kick in the arse.
Yeah.
We'd have to go.
Go find it.
Yeah. One family down where we came from, the one bloke there, a big lumpy young fella and his brother and they're all both bloody drugged out and all that. Could go up the street and buy a packet of cigarettes, cost you about $30 at a time and all that.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, what are you going to do? Or the publicans said, actually, while I was there, but I don't drink or smoke myself now. I used to years ago.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do now when Abbott takes the dole off you? He said, we won't work. I'm not getting up at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning to go to work, one of them said. Because not while I can get me pension, check coming in every fortnight.
There's no need to go on the dole if you're active and healthy.
Yeah.
You can just work it out.
Yeah, I can't get an old age pension because the wife works, but if anyone asks me to go out and help on the station and do mustering a student, anything like that, I go out here to a place up in the Queensland, Intercultural station, I go up and help them 4 or 5, or not as long as I like to stop there.
Yeah.
And I don't ask them for anything.
Yeah.
They offer it, but I don't ask it. I just live in the house there with them.
Yeah.
And we go out mustering and all that sort of business.
Well, if you've got no habits,
Yeah.
if you don't smoke or drink,
Yeah.
and you just eat basic food,
Yeah.
and you like a bit of adventure, you actually don't need all that much, hey?
No.
So now people go, oh, you know, so and so's like doing it tough, but you never hear, oh, did you hear what happened to Billy? Starved to death.
No.
Today, I just feel like the struggle is different to today. Like, say, in the Depression, you obviously had to, find out where your next feed is and stuff, but there was a bit of a fire in you. And now, to a certain extent, the struggle is your path, isn't it? Like, and now almost the path's been taken away. The struggle's been taken away, and like you say, you're just sitting there accepting handouts and saying, yeah, I reckon we should bomb these people.
Yeah.
And I think to a certain extent today, like you said, the problems with the world, where they go off and work, you know, back in the Depression, you're doing a pretty honest living, you're doing something pretty practical.
Yeah.
But a lot of the work now is you're pretty well contributing to a machine which is destroying the planet. So there's a real ambivalence about the whole nature of work as well. It's like, oh yeah, I've got to work, but am I just adding to the mess here?
Yeah, well, I can't follow them. A lot of them, they don't want to work.
Yeah.
Do they?
No.
I'm going to show you when I get to it. No, while I can go out and do a bit of work, I'll do it. Yeah,
and you're coming up to 89, you're still going out there. That's great, and you love it. And I think you've got to find work that you love too.
Yeah. Well, I'll never stop while I can do it. There's my mother and father in Broken Hill. That's going back a fair few years.
That's your mum and dad, hey? Yeah.
Mum, that's father.
And they met out here. And so, how old was your dad and your mum when they got married?
Well, we never dreamed. My mum was only young, I think about 18 or 19 or something.
Yeah. And your dad was?
He was, I forget how, I wouldn't have a clue now.
Yeah, about 20 years older.
It'd be about the same as...
Bad, yeah, settled down when you were about 50.
They like the young woman.
Yeah. and then he knocked out 14 kids with her.
Mm.
Impressive.
All good ones too, they all worked.
All good ones, they all worked. Your father was quite religious?
Yeah.
What religion?
He was, he used to pray at the mosque and that, Muslim and that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And was there much tolerance for it, or was it like, oh yeah, you just go, or was there was there this go back to where you came from type stuff now then, or was it,
No, there was none of that then.
They just thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah, and what he got with their religion, when they prayed and that, they faced the sun, and then when they were praying, you didn't disturb them.
Yeah.
If you disturbed them, well, that was it. And when I was younger, we used to go to school, and we used to have on a Thursday scripture.
Yeah.
A hour every Thursday morning. That was not only for everyone.
Mm.
And then that was a Catholic thing, because my mother was strict Catholic, but that didn't worry my father. He kept his religion and he didn't bother about what.
Yeah, so they're husband and wife, and they've got completely different religions, and they just do their own thing.
Yeah. And then on the Friday or Saturday, I think it was, I'm not too sure, Friday evening or Saturday, we used to have to go to the mosque and pray, the men, not the women. We used to go over there for an hour. On Sunday, Mum would take us all to the Catholic Church up on the hill in Broken Hill.
So, and how did that affect you, your religious beliefs, growing up in that environment?
It didn't worry me.
Did you grow up particularly religious one way or the other?
No, just go.
Yeah, you just turned up to both and went,
just let it go and go with it.
Yeah.
Go with the flow, as they say. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, yeah. Yeah, I suppose back then you couldn't have imagined how all this, there's such a Muslim Christian issue now. You couldn't have seen that happening back then. There wasn't the extremism on both sides of the religion back then.
No, 20 years ago I rode a camel across the Westgate Bridge.
20 years ago, really?
Yeah, in Melbourne. Remember old Cliff Young, the old...
Yeah, the runner, ultra-marathoner.
He was in it, and he was alive in them days, and he went across the bridge as well. And we had a police guard.
So you were the last guy to ride a camel across the Westgate Bridge?
The only one, I think. I don't think you'd be able to do it now, though.
No. Yeah. I might have a go with Gary, though.
Later on, what was it, 8, 9, 10 years ago, I had 21 camels down there where we were.
Yeah.
And there's 8 broken in ones with riding saddles. There's 8 of them on Cable Beach in West Australia now. A bloke came over and bought them. And then China...
And they were your camels?
Yeah. broken hill saddles and all on.
Well, they're the most famous camels in Australia now.
Yeah. They're dromedary, they call them. The right camel is a 2-hump.
Yep.
But they bought a 2-hump camel out here and they couldn't stand the heat and they died.
Really? I would have thought the 2-hump could have stand it more, but it's the 1-hump ones that can go longer.
1-hump ones can go a lot better.
So what are the 2-hump ones for? Are they sort of they're good, but just for shorter distances?
They still use them over there. I've seen racing them in them.
Yeah, right. They're good for racing, hey? Yeah. And there's no 3-hump camels, are there?
No. 2. Yeah.
That'd be more like the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah. Say that again.
As you're just a guy who's obviously enjoying life, and you know that's what you want, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you get born and you know, it's have a go.
Well, a doctor came to me about 6 weeks ago out here and assessed my heart, because I take heart tablets every morning, night. And
Oh, you got it when you got a wife who's 20 years younger than you.
yeah, and she said, you'll be right, another 10, 15 years and you yet. I was telling my daughter, she said, oh God, no.
You'd know, the guys that go really hard on the piss
Yeah.
and the smokes, and they die early, don't they?
Yeah, they go young,
Yeah.
You can't live on rum and bloody smokes and grogging and all that like that and expect to go till you're 100 or something.
As you know, just about coming to 89, man. You've got a long time left. It's great. You're looking good, mate.
Only thing now, my knees are buggered up.
Yeah.
As far as anything else goes.
And
And every time there was a day over here, even before I left here, I used to always work behind the chutes here. I think I've missed 3 in 45 years. Yeah.
good record. Yeah. So with your knees, you're no longer a rodeo clown as much?
No, I just go there and work behind the chutes and keep the buck jumpers up for the blokes.
Yeah, that's it. That's great. Yeah.
Well, you got to if you don't, well.
Get in there and contribute.
You
Yeah.
fall back too quick, don't you? Yeah. I know an old bloke, and all he does is sit in a chair in the winter time in front of the open fire.
Yeah.
And he's got his wife and everything there, and he's a good old bloke, and he's 83 or something. And he's whinging all the time because he can't get around. And well, if you're going to sit in front of the bloody fire all day and that, well,
You're not going to get
you've
around.
got to get around, see?
Well, you know, you can feel like that in your 20s if you don't move. You know, like, you just haven't got the energy. I mean, you've basically got to expend energy to get it.
Well, the same with the young fellow who's got that house in Dinky there who said, why should they work? They won't get up before midday in the day. At midday to go get up or anything like that.
No.
They just sleep all bloody day and then...
Yeah.
And they don't go to the pub because they're not allowed to, they're barred.
Did you used to smoke?
I smoked until, when, I give it up, 40 years ago.
Yeah, right, yeah. Gave it up in your mid-30s, yeah.
Yeah, gave it up 40 years ago.
And that was...
I only used to roll them, I didn't smoke those cigarettes.
Yeah, right.
Cigarettes.
And of course, back in those days, there was no drugs or... there wasn't even marijuana around here, was it? It was just tobacco and alcohol.
Yeah.
There wasn't the options they got now.
Grog and drugs have got them all buggered now, though, haven't they?
Yeah, well, it's... I think, to me, grog and drugs are basically the only way people seem to have control of themselves.
Yeah.
It's like everything's so restricted and there's no real incentive, and even work is like, am I just contributing to this mess?
Well, you pick the paper up and listen to news now and they say, and they go, people, they'll get on the drugs and they murder their wife or bash her up or something like that. And then you get some goody stand up and say, oh, it was only drugs, he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, no, it's, you got to have responsibility for your actions.
Yeah. They know what they're bloody doing. And you get these millionaires. You know, we went up to Viv Brothers' place up in Queensland, And his wife took us up and said, look at all these buildings up on the Gold Coast, she said, all 2 stories. She said, you know, some of them's only got 1 person living in them, and some's got 2. And they're millionaires and they want a bloody pension. Eh?
Yeah.
And when they were talking about taking the pension off them, holy Jesus, did they put on a bloody turn.
Yeah, well, people are professional whingers now.
Yeah, but of course they reckon why can't we get the pension? You know, we're old age, we've worked all our lives, and I can't follow it.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah, here I'm 89, and just because the wife's working, I can't get the pension.
Yeah.
I get superannuation,
Yeah.
which is only $86 a fortnight.
Yeah.
If I drank the smoke, that wouldn't even bloody...
Well, like you say, if people... You can't drink and smoke and then claim that you're poor.
No.
Like, you've got room to move there. You know? You can't drink a case of piss and a pack of smokes a day and you go, oh, I'm hard done by. Yeah. Like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. I knew families in Broken Hill, and the husband was not drugos in them days, drunkards, you know, boozos.
Yeah.
And they'd be getting the dole, the bloke, you know, women would be getting child endowment and all that.
Yeah.
And they'd take up that money off and the kids are starving.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah, it's like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in it.
Yeah. And I've seen kids come to school, that's mostly the wife going out. I've seen kids come to school and no
lunch or anything.
No lunch and no boots or anything.
Yeah.
And other kids would bring food in.
Yeah.
And they'd give it to the teacher.
Yeah.
And then the teacher sorted out, but these kids has got nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's sharing. That stuff doesn't happen either. Like now we rely on the government to look after each other. That's right. An example where you go, hey, let's have a little community here and sort it out us. And also, back in the day, there's fresh produce. A lot of fresh produce was probably grown here as well, I'm guessing.
What's that?
Well, there was more fruit and veggies actually grown in town back then?
Yeah, a lot of...
Or was it all shipped? Was it all still shipped in back then as well?
No, in them days, nearly every place that I remember, even on these stations, they all had veggie gardens and fruit trees. Mostly oranges and lemons.
Yeah.
Oranges and lemons, fruit trees.
Yeah.
Wherever you go.
But you actually had, if you had no money, you could actually get your own veggies and fruit, and you had your few chickens and your meat.
Yeah.
And you could raise 14 kids.
Yeah, there used to be some beautiful gardens. The big stations and that on the rivers and that, they used to always have Chinese gardeners.
Really?
Running, yeah.
So they were self-sufficient when it comes to food.
Yeah, food, yeah.
Well, I think that's where the country has really lost it, is that self-sufficiency and growing actually food.
Well,
farmers don't eat their own food anymore.
No, like I know all these cattle stations, Buller Down, Knockatunga, Durham Down, Dinnaminka, Kidman Station, all those stations on the rivers and that, well not only on the rivers, everywhere, all have their gardener and veggies, and the gardener would bring the veggies up to the homestead, because most of the gardens are down on the river. Yeah. And they bring all these veggies up to the homestead and put them there. And,
wow, what a treat.
And today, where are they?
Well, they're not valued. I mean, why aren't we...
Why valued? Because they can go in and buy a carton of bloody peas or whatever you like in tins.
Yeah. Why aren't these gardeners of value anymore? I mean, all the welfare and the war payments we're putting out, why not give it to these people and then towns survive? And people like me, just finding fresh food going through is pretty tough these days out in the country.
Yeah, it's tough, all right. A lot of people are getting it tough now.
Yeah. That's it. That's the key. Just we need more food grown, and the more food you grow, you don't depend on businesses or the government to survive.
No.
And it's not only a thing for the earth and better health, but to me that's where agriculture swapped into agribusiness, and people started disappearing because it's a labour-intensive thing when you actually grow your own food. And the more people, you got more women here, more children, and towns grow. But as soon as you swap to agribusiness, the people just disappear and you're eating shit food.
One time, if a family had a car, they were rich. They were, you know. But now you got all these families, and you got mobs of grown-ups and mum and dad. Mum and dad's got a car. All the kids got motor cars and everything like that. Then they wondering why the bloody the cities are getting congested.
Well, there's too much now, and it's like you say, this is not sustainable. This is, and there's no leadership from the politicians to do it, because I mean, to a certain extent, by the time you actually become a politician, by its very nature, you're pretty well just good at working out where the breed springs. So you're not, any conviction in a prime minister, any conviction in a politician you're not going to last.
Well, my daughter down in Bendigo, she's a steward and a judge at the greyhound racing. And we've got a flat for her down there, and there's an old couple, in another flat just up, and she goes and just say what they want on the weekend, and she just gets a list off them, goes and does all their shopping for them and all that. And yet he got family, and the family don't bloody worry about him.
Well, that's it. I think we're on the.
He's well over. He'd be 90.
That's the thing. We complain about businesses and governments, but we're not actually looking after ourselves.
That's right.
So people go, "Oh, you take away business, government, everything's going to collapse." I think we'll just go back to looking after each other.
They have to.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I better go out and see how my mate Gary's going out there. But just great talking to you, mate. And I'll go around doing these videos, and I look forward to doing videos with you on all my laps around, you know? I want to know, we'll have this same discussion in another 20 years, mate. No, you'll be still around.
Well, 110.
You'll be in your prime, mate.